Welcome to another brand new episode of Undisputed Anime. This is the podcast full of recommendations and fun discussions about something we love and something we know you love, which is anime. As always, I am your host, Zane Taicho, and as always, I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, Mr. Susu Day. How are you, good sir?
It's Saturday again. And like I was saying, the weeks just blur into one. So, sometimes I go to bed at night and then it's podcast day. It's just, that's how it feels.
That's how it is sometimes, yeah.
Even more so for you, my friends, knowing how many podcasts you are juggling at the moment.
Yeah. So we were just talking about how this is my fourth recording, like back to back. I've done 2 episodes for our sister podcast, Undisputed Nerds. Check that out. There's reviews on Werewolf by Night and She-Hulk that are coming out. And I've done some guest appearances and such as well this week. So this is my 4th session.
Working too hard, but gotta put in the work, haven't you?
This is it. And I guess like a bit of a humble brag, since I've come back from New York Comic Con, like, everyone's like, I want to know the experience. Tell me, like,
well,
who
can say what happens at Comic Con stays at Comic Con? I hear.
Well, not all of it stays because they showed the first episode of Bleach exclusively.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. So jealous. Speaking of Bleach.
Speaking of Bleach, today's episode, we will be giving our thoughts, our reactions to the first episode of Bleach and Chainsaw Man. So make sure to stick around for that.
Now, before we get on with the rest of the news, I'd like to say a big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, which you can get 83% off and 3 months free if you go to surfshark.deals/undisputedanime and enter in the promo code undisputedanime, all one word. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in a different country, which opens up a whole world of content libraries. If you're in the UK, you could watch Japan Netflix, which will give you a far bigger selection of animes. If you're outside the UK, you could watch BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE network. We've all been using Surfshark here at Undisputed Anime for a while, and it's our official VPN. And it doesn't just give you access to all the animes, it also secures your networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping your location and download history private. Like my collection of shoujo mangas, which must be protected at all costs. My favourite feature for this is that Surfshark knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection, like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent this interference. It's like having a JoJo stand for your phone. To sign up to Surfshark today, by using our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/undisputedanime, which you can get 83% off and 3 months free if you go to surfshark.deals/undisputedanime and enter in the promo code undisputedanime. We really appreciate it if you at least check them out, as they've been great company and we love working with them. Support Undisputed Anime and support your internet privacy with Surfshark.
Did you want to go straight into it? I haven't really compiled any sort of major anime news this week.
Anime news? The anime news is that we are eating good, my friends. Like,
this is the best season to be alive.
I know, like, it's been so long since we've had so many bangers all coming out all at once.
Dare I say, maybe too many. Like, I think the hardest decision is like where to focus your attention at the moment, because it's just been like Blue Lock, My Hero Academia, Mob Psycho 100. Like, there's been Spy Family. You just mentioned Spy Family. It's been
Yeah.
so much like good stuff coming out. Ooh.
I think the only solace that I can take in this whole situation is obviously, like I said, it can be a lot, but at least this isn't like a Netflix like situation where they've just like dropped full series of this. It's like at least it's simulcast, so like you can time it out, so you've got like an episode of something every single day, or like you watch a couple of episodes of something per day. As opposed to having to binge watch an entire series before you can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, the fact that you could spread this out throughout the week is really nice. More than anything. So
something to look forward to every single day.
Absolutely. Cool. Where do you want to start?
Well, I'd be remiss if I said anything but Bleach, because it exceeded all of my expectations.
Wowzers. So, using our rating system, undisputed or disputed, I'm gonna guess this is
Undisputed.
Undisputed,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, we've only seen the first episode so far, but if the first episode is anything to go by, we are really in for a great few months. It's great. It just feels right. It feels like all the boxes got ticked, and it also feels like the studio just knew exactly the bits to focus on, which was everything. Apparently.
Yeah. Studio Parrot, I think is how you pronounce it. It's really interesting because they're currently working on Boruto, and it is a massive difference in quality compare the two. And I'm not sure if that's because there's a bigger budget behind Bleach, or if this is like a passion project for them or whatever, but this is almost like movie quality in comparison to the weekly show that's been Naruto, Boruto, Next Generation.
Yeah, it's honestly like, so I rewatched all of the original run of Bleach like a couple of months ago, and but as it went on, there was a point where the animation suddenly jumped up a scale, where they had obviously changed processes. They had gone gone to being a more widescreen show as well, which was really jarring at first, because obviously if you're watching the old episodes on a TV these days, you've got the black borders at the side because it was obviously not meant for that aspect ratio.
Yeah.
But even compared to like the last series or so, obviously there was the Fullbring arc, which was like, say what you will about that particular arc, but like the animation was great in it. But it feels like it's just been upped again and again and again. I could not believe how crisp and smooth all of the animation is, all of the artwork is. Like,
it's insane. And like, even just the opening itself, like, the opening, and it's faithful to the manga as well. Like, you almost get reintroduced to all the characters. There's a Shimigami who is down on his luck, nervous, maybe his first sort of patrol and such, and is overwhelmed by the hollows and such. But it is such a like fan fest, isn't it? Like, everyone gets their time on screen.
yeah.
Chad smashes like a hollow into like a story block, like, and you can tell like there were those moments where they were like, here's the pause to allow everyone to just pop on screen, which I did when I saw it. Like,
Yeah,
and the crowd
I
did.
mean, the idea that you were able to see this as a massive group is wild, because me and my wife were watching it, and we were like jumping backwards and forwards in our seats. We were like kind of like smacking each other on the arms and legs and stuff like that. Like, when when something's good, because like you've just got like this big smile, like grin on your face the whole way through. And it's like obviously it's very very faithful to how the manga was drawn.
Mm.
But it's like there's so much that I feel like there was so much more to it. Even it's like obviously I don't think it really came across well in the manga. Like when Ishida first shows up, he's like skating along on spirit particles, like he's like literally like ice skating around. Even the quality of Orihime's like shields is like the animation quality of those shields is like so good.
The lighting effect is so good as well. Like that glow
Yeah.
that shines back on her face, especially when she shouts "reject." It just, it just everything you could wish for and more. And then the way Ichigo steps out, you know, that moment where he's like, when you're like, "This is yes, here he is." Like,
Here we go.
you know,
Here we go.
So those moments are just like a type of fan service that just makes you excited.
Yeah, and they
which is
played
so
number
good.
one as well. Like it
Mm.
was everything you could have possibly wanted to reintroduce the
What-
like 4 key like characters to like the real world.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was so good. And like one of the other things I really liked, which I guess going back reflecting back on what you were saying about how it's taking the material from the manga and just kind of scaled it up, is when I'm going to butcher his name, but the scientist from the science division, the captain scientist, is it
I
like
can't remember his
Kush?
name.
Kish, anyways, like the elevator scene, and then the grades opening. They've got all these TV monitors and scientists working, monitoring the like hollow particles disappearing and such.
Mayuri
Yeah,
Kuretsuchi.
Kurasuchi. That whole sequence, I thought, oh my god, like the science division has never looked this clean, like
Yeah.
or like this high scaled, if you know what I mean. Like it that was it was so
I
good.
think like what you said about the lighting, like that I think that is probably the biggest change, like one of the biggest changes overall with the animation is like just how well they are like dealing with light and dark and those contrasts. Because like I obviously there were moments like that in the original run, but it's like I feel like just with the way that animation's gone, there's obviously new processes in, and they're just able to much more dramatically capture the difference in lighting.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. Even you know, when they were just sat around eating bread, the warmth glow that came through from the window and such was beautiful. Like, and it's only just 4 friends sat around eating bread, but it looked like radiant.
Hi, welcome to Undisputed Anime, where us two nerds sit around and talk about the quality of the lighting in the new Bleach series.
Oh, it just fills you up.
Feels right.
Yeah, it just feels right. Of course, as you mentioned, it was a great scene. All the characters again: Ishida, Orihime, Chad, Ichigo. Um, I think that's the majority of what we saw, really, isn't it? I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember
mean,
seeing Kisuke or
no,
Yorichi.
we didn't see any other characters. Didn't see any of Ichigo's family. We got the
Mm.
2 new up and coming Shinigami who were now responsible for the town. We got to see
Mhm.
Afro-san.
Yeah, a returning Afro-san.
But other than that, we got to see the captain commander and his lieutenant.
Yes,
But it
Yamata.
was character wise, I think that the episode was pretty sparse. But I don't think it. I think it needed what it needed this because it set up the key players
Mhm.
initially. I think because you got the captain commander, you got his lieutenant, you got Ichigo and the gang, and then you got a small glimpse at the very end of the Quincy Force.
Yeah, and the king as well.
Yeah.
Is it Yak or Yayak? I'm never quite sure how to pronounce his name. It's like
I
a
just say Yacht. It's like Yacht, like a T at the end. It's German.
yeah,
But I didn't do German at school, so I didn't.
me neither. But yeah, it's that kind of. Either way, like his presence and the voice acting as well is just kind of like sensational.
Absolutely. Regardless, I'm looking forward to seeing, regardless of how his name is said, I'm looking forward to seeing how this progresses, especially knowing what happens. It's like it's seeing this first episode
Mm-hmm.
and how good it ended up being, and knowing what's to come
Mm.
is incredible. It's like it makes me so excited. I don't think it's been a good long while since I've actually been so excited for the next episode of an anime series. This is kind of like how back when things like Naruto and Bleach were still ongoing,
Yeah.
like episodes would end on a cliffhanger and then you'd be like waiting until the following week. And it's been a while since I've actually felt like that, because most of the time these days, most of the content that we're consuming, they release it in
Mhm.
just like massive chunks
Yeah.
a lot of the time now. And it's like, well, then I'm just able to consume everything I need to consume all in one go. Maybe they've split it into 2 parts, but still, it's like the idea
Yeah.
that I have to wait now for until Monday again to watch it is like giving me something I'm really like kind of keen on again.
Absolutely. It's I've just remembered, like, it's not shy to show blood as well, which was interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know that
Uh,
it aired on a late spot in Japan, because I
uh,
know that they were trying to, they didn't want to have to worry about like censorship.
Yeah.
So I believe so it aired quite late in Japan, so that we didn't have to, that wasn't something they had to think about. And I'm glad, because of the series, like obviously Bleach has got its fair share of like death and blood in it, but I think that of the series, of the arcs, this one is going to be the one that's going to benefit the most from not having restrictions on what they can and cannot show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just because it delivers on so much, like in terms of high stakes, high drama, and everything else. Another thought I had, just going back to what you were saying about it being week to week and such, and not being like super binge worthy, is, well, not so much that, but at this current moment, it's being released episodic. This is going to be split into 4 parts, so like
52 episodes, yeah.
the actual whole arc, it won't be, again, like Naruto, Boruto, Next Generations, where it's weekly episodic. It will have that structure, but similar to, say, like Spy Family or Stone Ocean, we'll get to see it week to week, and then it'll take a break, and then it'll come back in the second at some point.
It's a good format to have for it, to be
Mm.
honest, because while I would quite happily sit for 52 weeks, and like that's like pretty much a full year
Yeah.
of anime per week. I think that having it split out will be good, because it'll give us time to kind of digest everything. I can easily see this being one of those things where we watch it in the 4 chunks, and then once it's done, I might just go back and watch it from the beginning. Just
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, not like the whole anime, but like just watch the 1,000 Year Blood War, just like from episode 1 to the end in
Mhm.
just a straight run.
That'd be cool.
So
I like that. Yeah, I'm in the mindset of like, give them all the time they need to keep this quality.
absolutely.
I'd rather like it have this insane quality throughout, and and not it dip off at any point. So yeah, wow, visuals are great, music is great. What more can we say?
I mean, I've got one concern, but it's not about the anime itself.
Okay.
And my concern is stems elsewhere. It's that this anime is of such high quality, and I can't see that quality falling off. It's clearly going to be incredibly popular and highly viewed.
Yeah.
I'm concerned now that it's going to cause like bodies like Hulu and Disney to start competing more
I see.
in the anime market,
Mhm.
because the last thing I wanted is another situation like we've already got of like things like Amazon Prime and Netflix and like Disney Plus, where like you can't just watch it all in one place. Like when the merger between Crunchyroll and Funimation happened, I was like, this is great, because that means that there's only one place. There's like more or less one place that I now have to go if I want to watch anime. But now I'm concerned it's going to turn into one of those situations, especially with how popular this is, that they're going to start like trying to buy up more and more extremely popular titles.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to go to everywhere to watch it. I just want to go to one place and watch my anime, you know?
Yeah, it's a tricky one because streaming market is huge. Everyone's fighting for pole position on being the top streaming platform. That's no secret. I'm in the mind of two avenues at the moment. I think the whole Bleach being on Disney and Hulu in America, but more so Disney around the world. I think this is a great way for more people to get introduced to anime.
Yeah, I do get that.
But I know where you're coming from. You don't want to add another subscription to, your list of outgoings. Yeah, it's a tricky one because I know something like Amazon Prime have been trying to get into this market for years, and that's why they've brought up a lot of the older IPs. So, like, I want to say Akira might be on there, but Ghost in the Shell is definitely the original 80s version is on there and such. And Vinland Saga was on Prime for a really long time until this year where it came to Netflix. So, yeah, it's a tricky market.
Don't want my chosen genre to become more capital for big corporations to fight over. I just want to enjoy it without having to worry about where I'm enjoying.
Yeah, it'd be. I'm more interested to see if this means Disney will put money into their own anime studio, or
see that's what I would be interested in, because we obviously talked about Star Wars Visions when that was first out. It's like I would love to see Disney do more anime with the IPs that they already have. Like give us like they obviously did some Star Wars. Do something similar with like Marvel. Like do a run of a show where it's like give like some really popular anime studios like the right to be able to make a single short about like a certain element of the Marvel universe. Like that would be rad. Like I would love to see that.
Yeah, funny enough, it happened in the past before Disney bought the acquisition. Well, it might have been around about the same time, but Madhouse did do a couple of shorts for different Marvel characters. So they did. There's an X-Men series, which is gorgeous. It's so good. I think that's on Netflix now. If not, use Surfshark VPN. You'll find it on any of these platforms. You've also got, there's a Blade one, there's a Wolverine one that's on Netflix as well. So yeah, it has happened before in the past, but I know where you're coming from. At the moment, I think since Disney has had it, there's been like an Avengers card-based anime sort of thing,
Probably.
which is kind of like
well, it's like they're doing twist. It's like so an example. They've obviously done Twisted Wonderland, haven't they?
Yeah,
and stuff, and that's getting an adaptation, like a true adaptation into an anime series, isn't it? It's kind of like Disney's got so many IPs, like so many good IPs. I would just love to see like some of their original, like just original popular movies get remade into like anime shorts. I'd love to see that. But I'm really off topic because we're here to talk about Bleach and Chainsaw Man.
That's true. Yeah. Shall we move on to Chainsaw Man?
Yeah, Bleach, Undisputed, no question. Can't wait to. Well, I imagine that this will be a talking point. I imagine that in the coming episodes, we will probably just take a couple of minutes to talk about like how good episodes were, won't we?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man. I'm gonna kind of do a humble brag here. I got a poster of Bleach. Look at that.
Oh, you're gonna get
Ooh.
framed.
Potentially, it's really short, so it's kind of like. Plus, I'm not quite sure where it would go on the walls.
That should hang
then-
over your marital bed, obviously.
what, and have the King of Quincy's like bear looking down on me.
Yes.
And then we've got a little.
Oh, okay.
Look at that reach.
Well, goodness, look at you with your fancy Comic-Con like
Exclusives. Yes, and then I got this little bitty boo, my hero.
That's very cool. Is it holographic or is it just glossy?
No, it is holographic. Like if you, wow,
That's very cool. Like that's
lighting doesn't
incredibly
help.
cool. You need to get that framed. That needs to be on show.
Yeah. When we got these, there was a guy who was cosplaying as Deku, and he was like, "Look at my boy, he was a baby," which made me giggle. But yeah, Chainsaw Man, episode 1.
What can I say?
Undisputed.
Undisputed, absolutely. It was great. It was, dare I say, worth the wait.
I was going to say
So
that.
they've been teasing us for so many months now, years now. We've been getting little teasers of this anime, and finally it's here, and it didn't disappoint.
Absolutely. It's oh baby, Mappa really did some work with this one. Again, the quality is beautiful. I know there's been a lot of kind of discussion around the 3D CGI.
Yeah, this is
do you
like
want
the
to tackle
only
that now?
controversy
Yeah.
that I've seen to come out of this. So yeah, I mean, we can just dive right into that. Like, they've obviously used some 3D elements for the actual Chainsaw Man form.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bothered by that. I think if it makes them able to continue to maintain the quality they're delivering,
Mm-hmm.
and to deliver the kind of like, I mean, we've both read the manga. Like we know what kind of absolute insanity is going to be coming up fight wise. Like I would rather they be able to go at it 100% rather than have to, like, due to like animation constraints, like have to dial it back a little bit just to be able to accommodate it. I think it's just I think to a lot of people, especially like people who are like really hardcore into traditional like animation,
Mm-hmm.
it probably comes off initially a little bit jarring.
Yeah.
But to me, like, I'm not, you know, I wasn't startled by it at all. I was like, well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
It's here's the thing. It's a tricky thing to draw in terms of like perspectives on, because it's quite a flat looking like transformation, dare I say. So then to try and animate that, I think it made a lot of sense to make it 3D, as you said before, for ease and quality and such. Last thing I'd want is it to look like that real janky version of Goku when he's fighting Beerus, for the first time, where his like whole face is like all over the place.
yeah,
So I'd rather it be like this, but it's not the end of the world, because they use a technique where it's a 3D model, but like I'm trying to think of an example. So there's a moment when Denji jumps out of the bin, and that's 3D CG, but it's a technique. I want to say it's called like proto something, where they trace the actual anime, the CG movement, and then they actually kind of like then animate on top of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, makes perfect sense.
So again, there are things to make it seamless, like to kind of smooth out the animation instead of it being so jarring. But like you said, I don't mind it. I think it's a small price to pay for something that looks insanely good overall as a piece. So
I think that the people who like this is the thing is like I think the people who don't like it still want the series to have this like insane high quality, but they're
yeah.
not taking into consideration the fact that this is obviously a choice that was made because it allows the studio to maintain that high quality. Like,
hmm
like it was obviously it's been a long time coming. This anime,
hmm
like, I mean, if people were happy to wait for another like 2 years to get the same quality because they had to like it had to be done in a more traditional way. I mean, I can't really say anything to that, but I'd rather have it in its form now because I think it's going to lend itself really well to it. To be honest,
Yeah. I guess there's a cost side of it as well.
yeah,
Because again, I think from my understanding or from what I've seen and read, 3D CG is cheaper than 2D animation.
yeah,
So, and like you said, there's a time element to
yeah.
that as well.
It
So
also
yeah.
feels like it's better. It's better for whatever teams are working on it because obviously in animation, in gaming, in like so many things, there's such an issue with burnout where
Mm,
obviously teams are required to take on so much more than than is healthy for them. I would
hmm
rather them. I'd rather more studios start employing like techniques that ease the load, and
Yeah.
this is one of them. I mean, this is from an outside perspective, but I'd have to imagine that this is a choice that's been made. Like it's a conscious choice that's been made to kind of
hmm
keep quality up, but improve working conditions. Probably.
Definitely. And who wouldn't want the best, full Chainsaw Man off the back of that? Um, should we talk about some characters?
Yeah, absolutely. We obviously only got a small handful of key characters,
hmm
um, but worth talking on. We got Denji.
We did get Denji, and his heartbreaking background story.
Yep. Lost a lot of limbs while he was very young. Bloody Yakuza.
uh, oh yeah, go ahead.
I know. I was waiting for you to say something.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot. Like I remember him selling a kidney, but I completely forgot he had sold his eye.
And his
Um,
testicle.
yes, um, but yeah, that part is wild and yeah, just heartbreaking. Like he has inherited this debt, and he's doing everything he can to try and like pay it off, even just down to the point where he just eats a slice of bread between him and is it pronounced Pucciana?
Um, I in my head I'm saying pooch. I see. I've gone
Pucha.
to say it now, and now I can't even remember what I was going to say.
What were you going to say? Is it Pucha?
I'm just going to Google it because it's
Yeah.
Pochita. Pochita. Woof. Oh, that plushie is adorable. I really want that. Yeah, Pochita, the Chainsaw Devil.
mm. Uh, yeah, amazing. The promise they make to each other. Well, the promise slash deal is an interesting
Yeah.
one, isn't it?
Well, it's so different to like so. I guess spoiler for like further ahead in the story or the world at large, but it's like devils can obviously form contracts with humans, and humans will obviously become like devil human hybrids as a result of that, and they obviously gain great power as a result. But typically, there is something more underlying in the deal that benefits the devil, usually, as is common like in most media, you got the Faustian bargain where you get power at a cost.
Mhm.
But Denji's deal with Vegeta is obviously a lot more amenable to both of them, because
Yeah.
all he wants is, because Denji promised Vegeta, he said that if he dies, he wants him to eat him, or he wants him to like take his body so that he
Yeah.
can continue to live a good life. He doesn't want him to like die as a result of him not being around. But then
Mhm.
obviously, as a result of what happened to Denji, like Vegeta's like, he'll save him,
Yeah.
but like and the cost of that is that he's got to like share his like dreams, share his like
Mm.
memories of his life with Vegeta, which is like lovely like sentiment to start off with. You obviously see how his relationship with Devils is very different to how a lot of characters will be moving forwards.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, the sequence at the end as well, where he fights off the horde of zombies and the
Yeah.
zombie devil, was just insanely good. I forget like how long that was as well. Like where,
There's a good portion.
yeah, especially where he just like fights them off. I guess like overnight, because in the morning then Maki turns up, or Makia turns up with the
The
bureau
Devil
and
Hunters,
such.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like he's just spent the whole night like wailing.
Yeah, and honestly, with regards to that combat, is like very much in the same vein as Bleach. This is obviously aired at a much later time in
Mm,
Japan, because this is a very, very bloody, very gory, um,
mhm.
gory title. Even knowing that from reading the manga, I was not expecting them to go quite so hard with Denji being stabbed and torn apart by zombies.
Yeah.
Absolutely was not prepared to see him getting repeatedly stabbed by a pile of zombies.
Absolutely. I remember being so shocked when I read that first chapter where he's in the bin in bits.
Yeah, in
And I was,
pieces.
and like in my mind, I was like, this will that particular panel will never get animated. Like, but they showed it. Like, it's like, oh my god, it's not
Here
as
we
long
are.
as like it's not as long as a panel like where you can look at it as long as you have to. But like, yeah, they did it, and I was like, wow.
So it's gonna be so good, because it obviously, that is probably the very mildest of it.
Mm, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
worst part. Yeah.
yeah, that's like, there's gonna. I saw a great TikTok the other day, which was just someone who was saying like, if you're new to this anime, like
Hmm.
if you're new to this anime and you've never read the manga, then please enjoy it, like have a good time with it. If you have read the manga, then God help us all, like stuff like that. What we're about to go through is a mess. And that's how I explained it after the episode was done to my wife. I was like, now I want you to just absorb everything that's happened, and
Hmm.
how absolutely batshit crazy everything that happened in this episode was. And now I want you to imagine that every single episode it gets progressively more and more and more insane.
I There's one episode I'm expecting to just be nightmare fueled. Um, I'm don't want to go into spoilers for the rest of the season, but you know when there's like the astronauts, I'm expecting that episode to just be like, yeah. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to watching that. I can only, yeah, in my mind I think it's going to be the most uncomfortable thing to watch, but yeah.
It's gonna be certainly gonna be something, isn't it?
Hmm.
Certainly gonna be something. Wait until the Gun Devil gets involved, eh?
Exactly. Um, one last thing I wanted to talk about from Chainsaw Man was the opening. And all
So
of
many
its-
references.
It's really good, isn't it? Like
It's so good.
at first I was like, what? And then I realized, like, well, I think I saw on social media there's, like, as you say, so many sort of movie references and like them carrying from certain scenes and things,
Yeah,
which is amazing.
I'll share. I've got a TikTok saved, which does a comparison of the opening compared to all the references in it. I'll share it with you, and you can put it into like the into the description and
Yep.
stuff like that for people who are interested, because it's really like a nice short form video that shows each scene side by side, or not side by side. Each scene immediately followed by the scene that it's based on. So
I see. Yeah, I think IGN have done it as well, where they've done it top to bottom, where it's
yeah.
like side by side sort of comparison and stuff. But yeah, even Denji cleaning the
Yeah,
bowling
cleaning
balls
and to be honest, like I love anime openings like this for series that are so obviously combat heavy, because I love seeing all these characters like doing all this really like slice of life stuff,
yeah,
like as opposed to it just being an opening sequence that shows him like being Chainsaw Man and like killing devils. I love seeing the fact that like that it's just showing them doing like life.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you there, which is something Bleach did in the past as well.
Yeah. What I will say though, this is me taking a hard 180 going back to Bleach.
Oh
First
yeah.
episode, we did not get an opening sequence, and I don't believe that the end sequence we got was the actual end sequence we'll be having moving forward.
I think you're right.
Because I think that the opening sequence we got was we didn't get an opening sequence, but the end sequence was basically a summary of Bleach up until that point. And it was
Ooh.
like a full song. It wasn't like
Yeah.
part of a song like put together for the credits. And it was obviously, I think they were like just introducing it like the credit reel at the end of a movie. And I think moving
see.
forward, we'll get an actual proper end sequence, and we're obviously going to have an opening sequence. We know what the song is already. We've seen it on trailers.
Is it the remix of number one?
No, it's what's it? Because I think the trailer that came out before is actually mentioned what the opening sequence is called.
Okay.
It's called Scar.
Mm.
Tatsuya Kitani, apparently. But yeah, I imagine that we'll get a proper opening sequence next week. It's
Ooh,
coming Monday. Oh, also we get it before Japan does.
Run that by me one more time. How do we get it before Japan?
So it airs on Monday for
UK time?
the UK and for North America, but it doesn't air until, I suppose, like time difference wise. That's why I'm thinking about it. It feels like we're getting it sooner because we get it on the previous day, but it's airing after midnight in Japan, so like, that'll be it. So
Oh, you're saying like because of like the time difference? Are you saying because like it would be nighttime in Japan?
yeah. So we got the first episode on the 11th. No, we got it on the 10th, didn't we? Yeah, we got the first episode on the 10th, which was Monday. They didn't get it until the 11th. But if it aired at 4 p.m. in the UK, then it would already be past midnight in Japan. So that's where it comes from. So it's airing it at the same time. I'm just being mad, like dumb brain right now.
Timey-wimey, right?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the premiere is at midnight. It goes on at midnight in Japan.
Oh.
So it's essentially the following day.
I see where you're going. Right.
There we go. This is why you got to think before you speak, Elliot.
But it's useful for those who are using VPNs. Maybe they're trying to I don't
you
know.
don't need to try and get it earlier because you just need to watch it in your time zone. Everyone's seeing it at the same time.
One other thing I was just going to mention about the Chainsaw Man opening, which is something we discussed on an episode we did a week or two ago now with Super Anime Podcast, is that they normally skip openings because they find like spoilers in the openings.
Yeah, that is very true. You can, and we found that with Spy Family, because obviously it's got into like the second part of their season. They've got a new opening sequence, and immediately in the opening sequence, you're seeing loads of characters and stuff that have not yet been shown. And I was like, kind of very tempted to skip over it because my wife hasn't read the manga.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it's like I was like, I know who these characters are, so it's fine, but she doesn't know who these characters are. So it's kind of like maybe we should skip over it. But I get that. I completely get that sentiment. I just love watching the anime openings though, like at least once.
Me too. Yeah. And what blew my mind is they mentioned as well, they pointed out that we see the Super Saiyan transformation in the opening for Dragon Ball Z before we actually saw the Super Saiyan.
What is this golden Goku?
Why does
they're
Goku
they're completely ripping off Supersonic.
Yeah, but it's true. Sometimes there are spoilers. You just don't know it. I think that's the thing, isn't it? You just don't realize what you're watching until it happens in the show where it goes, and here it is.
Here's the thing: it's teasered. You know, it's a teaser.
But again, I think that's why it's really cool with Chainsaw Man, where it's like, we're showing you funny references and not like things to come.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. It's
Mm.
and we obviously get the titular like ending sequence trope of the name of the anime is in the song. It's great.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to loads more, both completely undisputed in my eyes. I'm really looking forward to seeing how far they go with this.
Mhm.
And again, while could be seen as a negative to some people, it's going to be fun to see the bar getting raised again.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you there. Such an exciting time. Such an exciting time. I'm glad I'm around to see this. This makes me sound
To be
old.
alive.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, like anime's been good, like for the past decade or so, but it's never. I don't think it's ever made me feel quite like it did when I was like still in school and I was like doing anime like every week to stay on top of things.
Don't worry, I'll edit that word out.
Just bleep out, just like what? What could he possibly mean? We might have some viewers who are like, "What's?"
And the FBI are like, do the research now.
Get me the file on Susude. It says here that this guy downloaded like 800 hours of.
But yes, going back to what you're saying, it is an exciting time. It's the quality is just unbelievable right now, across the board, not just with Bleach. Bleach is fantastic, but like the quality overall, like even with Wit Studio, Mappa, of course, and stuff, A1 Pictures seem to be doing some incredible things with what's it called, Lacoste Recoil. I don't think you've seen it, but oh my god, like that was so good. One of the best things this summer. So yeah, everyone's doing amazing things, amazing quality, and I'm so glad to be alive right now.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I'm looking to give a try. Obviously, a couple of episodes ago, we had a guest talked about like mecha anime. I did add The Witch of Mercury
Yes.
to
Yes.
to my favorites. So I'm looking to
Mm.
get on that at some point because it looks like it could be a nice reintroduction to Gundam for me.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot. Might even give love a sports anime. Maybe I'll give the footy one a go.
Blue Lock, yeah.
As much as I have an absolute disdain for football in real life, anime football might be quite fun.
Heard good things. Yeah, I might give that a watch as well.
Yeah.
Love a good sports anime.
There's a lot of hype about it, so
Mm.
I feel like it might be. I'm not going to go as far to say it could be like the next Haiku because I haven't watched all of Haiku, so I can't really speak for it. But you know, people love a sports anime. Is it going to be a free? Is it going to be a Yuri on Ice? Is it going to be a Haiku? Who can say?
But what I will say is, if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to
Segue.
like. Beautiful. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. If you listen to this on your favorite podcast platform, make sure to give us a star rating. Let us know what anime you're excited for this season. Have you watched Bleach yet? Please let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Mr. Susu Day. Oh, before I forget, follow us on social media as well. All the relevant links will be in the description down below. Undisputed Animes on all your favorite platforms. And yeah, Mr. Susu Day, it's been a pleasure. I thank you so much for sharing your excitement for all of the episodes we've mentioned.
All two of them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our next episode though. We've got so
same.
much. We've got so much like to watch, and
next couple of weeks and months is going to be where even if we've got a topic for an episode, I imagine we're going to be touching on like the ongoing animes in a segment just to review where they're going and how we're feeling about it and stuff.
Yeah, there's like movies like One Piece Red that are coming out soon. We got to catch. Yeah. So yeah, we've got lots.
We're eating good, kids. We're eating good.
We've got lots to watch, read, and talk about. So make sure you'll subscribe, ring that notification bell, and we will no doubt catch you on the next one. Ciao.
Peace.